Hello, good morning and welcome to another episode of Shed Customs and the building of the replica Rudge TT oil tank. So sit back, get your cup of tea and let's see what we can make today. So the next part of the build is these clamps, and they basically go through the frame tube and we'll clamp the oil tank to the frame tube. So we're going to make a couple of brackets which I'm going to weld inside with some captive nuts. The other thing I'm going to try out is this, I was watching a YouTube channel called Whiteland Customs. Recommend having a look at them. They do lots of restoration work. But anyway, the guy was showing this new scriber with a carbide tip, and I'm forever sharpening mine, so we're going to give that a go. So all I'm going to do with this is just draw around the profile. I can already tell from the way that's scratching, that's pretty good. And we'll do the hole. And we've got to make two of these. Like that. Alright, so I'll just hack that up. Okay, so I've saved you all the agony of hacksawing and marking these out, but now I've got two of these. I'm just going to pop a couple of holes in, and I'm going to grind off all of the black scale because it's going to make that difficult to weld. Well, certainly won't be the nicest thing if I weld over the top of that, so we're going to clean it off as well, and then I'll show you the next part. Okay, two holes, and use that to mark out, clamp them together and drill this one, and I'll bring you back once we've got them out to the correct size. Two 8mm holes, four 8mm holes. So drilled, got a couple of cutouts which I'll explain what that's all about in a minute, and here are some dome nuts which are going to get welded all the way around the outside, and you'll get to see that it's all part of the plan to keep this thing, or keep all the oil inside the tank. So I'm going to get the welder fired up and get ready to weld these on. Okay, so maybe you're getting the idea now. You've got two on the right. Well, I've fettled up. I haven't taken you through that process, but hacksawing, filing and a bit of drilling. And then this is what we're trying to finish off, and I'm going to weld them together, or weld them in place I should say. Okay, let's go. So I've got it set up in the vise just to hold it so it doesn't move. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the welding, but probably see some bright lights, I guess. So I've managed to sneak in there with some nice little beads. So if you've all been following along, here we have the fuel tank in a flat sheet with lots of hieroglyphics all around it. But the next part of it is we're going to be drilling these two holes, or 4 holes, to take that clamp. So let's get on and drill those. Okay, so the next part is the tricky part. So I don't know if you're following what's going on, but ultimately this comes through and that sits around the frame. So I've got to drill or make a slot or 2 slots for each one. So this get mounted behind, the bolts go through with that clamp, and this has to come through. So what I've done is I've marked a line which is on the centre line of those 2 protrusions, and the idea is I'm going to drill a series of holes which are going to help me to make a slot which is just a little bit wider than that. So now we've ended up with a series of holes. I've used a 3mm drill bit. The tang on that is 3mm thick, so now I'm going to use a little junior hacksaw and cut through the middle of those. And I've got a nice little thin file which fits in between, and we're going to do a bit of hand filing. So after a few hours filing, you get those slots, and that fits in there like that. And I'll turn it over. Just wants a little bit of a tap with a hammer. So what's going to happen is this is going to get sealed all the way around the outside. We're either going to solder it or we're going to weld it, and that's going to seal that in so that when you screw that on and hold it into the frame, obviously no oil can escape through the holes. So I just need to do that with that one. Really pleased with that. Last time I cut a square out, which was easier, but it didn't look as neat. It didn't look as nice at the end job because you had like a square inside here with the removed metal. So I've chosen this time to actually do it slightly different. So we'll see. Hopefully it's going to work out. And the reason I've done it now is because what I found last time was once I'd folded up the sides and folded it into a box, it was very difficult to get on the drill to drill holes and basically try and do anything. It was more difficult because you're trying to work around the fact this isn't a square box, it's an angle. Anyway, we'll see. Bit more filing. So I just thought I'd show you the oil filter housing. So what I've done is I've turned that nut down to a diameter, and I think what I'm planning on doing is putting a hole through that and then having that part of the nut proud facing out of the tank, or at least that's what I'm planning at the moment. In fact, looking at the lines that I've put on here, all of this lot's round the wrong way at the moment, all needs to get turned around the other way, but you'll see. Anyway, I've got a step drill which has got a 30mm diameter, so it's just a case of marking it out and cutting it. So now we've got the hole, which was a bit of a pain. We weld that nut in there, and ultimately and that's going to be the oil feed, so it comes down and then the tank's going to get folded around. Right, can't put it off much longer, gonna have to put the folds in.